All right, so today we're really diving into uh, something special, I think,
Sure.
a program called Boss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tackling this big issue, this opportunity gap we always hear about, especially for young men of color.
Yeah.
But it's not just about getting them through school. It's about setting them up to actually thrive.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And they've got a really interesting way of going about it.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique.
Okay, so we've got Everett Glenn. He's a retired attorney,
Okay.
but, and this is interesting, he also has this whole background in the NFL and NBA as a contract advisor.
Wow, so he's seen both sides of the coin. That's fascinating.
Exactly.
And that's where Boss comes in.
So Everett Glenn, the big boss, as they call him, is the driving force.
He is.
See, Glenn, he noticed something back in the day. A lot of successful people he'd worked with, many from similar backgrounds as his own, they had this common thread: early involvement in sports. It was like that experience, win or lose, you know?
Yeah.
It taught them some really valuable, like, life lessons.
And that's where it gets really insightful, I think. See, for boys of color, particularly those from low-income backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
early sports can be, well, it's a double-edged sword in a way.
How so?
Well, they might not have the same support systems as their peers.
That village everyone talks about.
Exactly. That village to guide them, to help them see beyond the court, beyond the field.
And without that,
They risk focusing solely on athletics. And sometimes that could be at the expense of their education, their personal growth.
you're right, that sense of community is crucial.
It is. They provide that year-round village kind of support. They supplement what families and schools can provide. And that's actually where those 6 boss pillars of excellence come in.
6 pillars. Okay, so it's more than just like after school programs, right?
Absolutely. This is about like holistic development.
Yeah, okay.
You've got mental boss, emotional boss, social boss, you've got physical boss, economic boss, and spiritual boss.
Oh, okay.
And each one is carefully designed to address very specific needs. It's about building those essential life skills.
So it's like they're saying, hey, we're not just going to help you get through school, we're going to help you navigate like life, period.
Precisely. And you can actually see Glenn's own experiences kind of woven into these pillars.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It really emphasizes financial literacy
Right, right.
as a pillar of economic empowerment,
Absolutely.
responsible money management, even like entrepreneurship.
Right.
Doesn't that connect perfectly with his background as an attorney, negotiating contracts?
Wow. Yeah, when you put it like that.
It's like he took those skills, the skills that brought him success, and said, okay, how do I bottle this? How do I empower these young men with those same tools? And it's not just like theoretical. They're getting results. We're talking about students outperforming their district peers on those standardized tests, the ones, by an average of 15%, which might not sound like a ton, but
That's huge.
in education, that's like a seismic shift.
Yeah, and especially, right, considering like the elephant in the room, the pandemic.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, everyone was worried about learning loss, right? But particularly for students from communities that were already facing more obstacles.
Absolutely, and the data reflects that. But here's the thing. Even with all those disruptions, they didn't just keep pace. They thrived.
Get out of here.
I'm serious. Their average Lexile growth during the pandemic, we're talking over a full grade level. It's wild.
That's incredible.
It really is. It takes what we learn through sports
Mm.
and uses those principles to benefit all boys,
Interesting.
even if they aren't athletes.
Oh, wow, that's cool. So using sports to teach life skills.
Exactly. It helps boys, any boy really,
Mm-hmm.
unlock their potential,
I like that.
no matter what they're into, what their interests are.
I mean, sports can teach you a lot, right? Discipline, teamwork. So it's really about applying that never give up mentality that you see in athletes
Yes.
to a different passion.
To a different passion.
Yeah.
And the sense of pride that comes when he actually overcomes that obstacle.
Exactly.
I mean, this is for every boy, right? It doesn't matter if they're into
Absolutely.
sports, music, coding, anything.
This isn't about pushing kids into a box. It's about breaking down those stereotypes
Yeah.
and showing them that success isn't one size fits all. It's really inspiring. I mean, it really
It is. It's empowering.
challenges that idea that you have to fit a certain mold.
Yeah, you don't have to be the star athlete to be successful. You don't even have to like sports.
Exactly.
You just have to find your own path.
But I'm curious, how does Boss go beyond the numbers and actually help people develop those qualities? You can have amazing grades, but what about those things that are harder to measure, like a young man's confidence, his leadership skills? How do they cultivate that?
Well, that's where the real magic happens. Remember those 6 pillars we talked about?
Yeah.
It's not just like a catchy phrase. It's woven into everything they do. Like They provide daily homework help,
Yeah.
right? Which is great, creating that structured, supportive environment for academic growth. But then they take it a step further. Yeah.
And boss talks, those are, well, they're really key part of
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay.
They're like workshops and motivational speeches,
Yeah.
specifically designed to like inspire and empower young people.
So picture this, right? You're a young man, you're eager to learn, you want to grow. Boss just brings in these amazing people like from all over, talking entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, like people who have achieved success in all different fields.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's about showing them the possibilities, the different paths they can carve for themselves.
I remember when I was younger, just having those kinds of role models, it made such a difference because it wasn't even just about like what they accomplished.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like I could see myself in their journey, and it made me think, well, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly. It's all about expanding their horizons,
Hmm.
planting those seeds of possibility and then giving them the tools to actually like nurture those aspirations.
I love that.
And the best part is we hear about the impact directly from the students.
This young man's grades skyrocketed after joining Boss.
See, that's a perfect example right there.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of story that I think really gets to the core
Mm.
of what Boss is all about.
Absolutely.
He went from barely scraping by to being like on the verge of a 4.0.
Are you serious? That's amazing.
It is.
It's like those 6 pillars, they gave him the framework, the support to unlock his full potential. And not just in school, but like you were saying, in all areas of his life.
Exactly. And what's so interesting is his story. It's not unique. And it goes back to what we were saying about the village,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
One parent, she kind of said it perfectly.
Okay.
She was saying that Boss is just an extension of what she and her husband try to teach their own kids.
Yeah.
That village of support.
It's so true. And it's such a powerful reminder. It's not just about like throwing resources at a problem.
Nope.
It's about creating this sense of belonging,
Yes.
a community where these young men, they feel seen, they feel supported, and ultimately they feel empowered to reach their full potential.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
It's that sense of community, that belief in their potential. His vision was for everyone to benefit.
Whether you're like the star quarterback,
Or you never played anything.
you still get that chance to grow. It's amazing, when you think about it, how Boss S created this space, this environment where these young men, they don't just survive, they thrive.
Yeah.
And it's not even in spite of the challenges they face. It's like
Right.
they've been given the tools to actually navigate those challenges, to use them as fuel.
And those tools, those 6 pillars,
Right.
they equip these young men for a lot more than just, the classroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember how we were talking about Boss's emphasis on, like, STEM fields?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just about, hey, let's get your grades up.
Yeah.
They're opening doors to careers in science,
Yeah.
technology, engineering, mathematics.
Right. Those fields that are going to shape the future, basically.
Exactly.
But it's more than just opening doors, isn't it? It's like
Right.
making sure those young men feel empowered to like walk through those doors, confidently.
100%. And let's be real for a second. Those haven't always been the most, welcoming spaces for people of color.
That's a really good point.
They're changing that narrative.
Hmm.
And they're not just telling these boys, hey, you can do it. They're giving them the experiences, the mentors, the support systems to really believe it themselves
Yeah.
and, to prove it to the world.
It's like they're creating this like ripple effect, It
Yes.
starts with like individual transformation,
Yeah.
but it has this potential to impact families, communities, entire industries even. It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's about like breaking down those systemic barriers,
Yeah.
right? Creating a more equitable playing field, both on and off the field.
Right, right.
And it all comes back to, what we keep talking about, the
Yeah.
power of that village,
Right.
that support system.
So true.
One thing that really stood out to me was the trainer strategy.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
So they had these college student academic coaches who were trained in the Boss core principles and methodology.
Okay.
Then these coaches mentor the younger students, passing on that knowledge and those skills.
So it's like a ripple effect.
It is. And get this, 100% of those college student coaches graduated. Some are even pursuing post-grad degrees.
Wow, that's amazing. Says a lot about the training.
It really does.
Yeah.
That impact is powerful.
For sure. And it's really got me thinking. It's like Everett Glenn. He took his experiences, his understanding of what it takes to succeed, and he built this incredible blueprint for others to follow.
You really did.
This deep dive has been, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really inspired. With the right support, the right guidance, and a whole lot of heart, you can empower young people to just like blow expectations out of the water.
Totally. And to create a brighter future, not just for themselves, but for their communities as well.
And that's what it's all about, right? But it really struck me, something that parent said about being the extension of what my husband and I tried to do. It makes you realize, like, we can all be part of that village, even in small ways. So here's something to think about as we wrap up. How can you be a source of support and encouragement for the young people in your life? What talents, what passions can you help unlock? Because sometimes all it takes is one person, one opportunity, one connection to completely change a life's trajectory.
So well said. Couldn't agree more.